YouTube. What's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another live, guys. And today's live is going to be on 5 players that you should be starting in Week 14. So, guys, I got my homeboy here with me. Harami, what's going on with you, bro?
What up, TD? Happy Saturday.
Right. And I always tell y'all guys this. I know I got a lot of cutting edge content, so I like to have people in and balance out my cutting content. I understand that y'all like that. So I like inviting CHB, Harambe to come up here whenever they can. So I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me.
Right. And before we get started, guys, I want to give you perspective of how I see starts and sits. Remember, I beat to my own drum. So I'm not gonna go out here and just ignore what a word means. But when my starts and sits, guys, it could be Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle doesn't have to be on waivers for me to tell you to start him, because I know right now the way he's been playing, he's volatile. We need to know if we can start him or not. So he don't have to be on the waivers for me to say that he's a streamer. Because I think anybody that's been playing bad for 2 or 3 weeks in a row, he's in a streaming situation, even if he's on the bench. Do you agree with that, Arambi? Yes or no?
100%. A couple weeks ago when Waddle, speaking of, when he played the Patriots, I started him in Draftkings. I won a good amount of money. And
Right.
he was 2%, 3% drafted.
Right. But that doesn't mean that he was on the bench. I mean, well, he
No.
was on the waivers. Wait, that's what I mean. It doesn't mean that he was on the waivers, but he's probably on people's bench. But you still, I thought it was still good content to tell people to start him as a streamable guy.
It's like stocks. You've always said it, dude. Like a player could have 2 bust weeks, come back and have a boom week, and then turn around and bust again next week.
Right.
I saw Jalen. I saw there was going to be a game where Jalen was going to explode. I'm like, dude, this has to be the week. And remember, you did that live, and I'm like, I love the Waddle take.
Yes, you said that. Yep. And the Christian Watson, that happened earlier this week. I thought it was a good start. I didn't know what the hell he was going to do, but if Romeo Dobbs is out, what else are you going to really do? You got to start Christian Watson. I'm angry that he dropped the pass too. I know he dropped passes, but the guy's explosive, man. I think he needs more volume to learn. It's kind of like this: if you are an average swimmer, how you become a better swimmer? Throw your ass out there in the water and swim. And I believe that's what Christian Watson needs. Getting 2 or 3 targets, it handicaps him as to grow into to be able to take the volume and be an elite wide receiver in the NFL. I think Green Bay patty cake him.
They unleash him on like big boom plays, and like sometimes it looks like he's not confident, and then he'll drop the pass. Like you got to get him the repetition. You got to get him the short game to utilize the long game. And like, yeah, I don't think he's a bust. I think he's still got a lot of potential in that up and coming offense, and he's young. You just got to stay healthy.
Facts.
He's explosive.
Facts. Yep. So, anything you want to talk about before we get started?
No, it's good to be back on. I love seeing you guys here, and I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving and you're having a good time in the winter season with your families heading into Christmas, and let's win some titles.
Yes, sir. Okay. So, Rambi, you want to go first?
Yeah, so we're doing five starts of the week, right?
Right, 5 starts of the week. Guys that should be started.
All right, well, my guy might not be the most popular pick, but we're in the middle of bye weeks. We got a lot of elite quarterbacks on bye right now. And if you look at this guy's game log the past 5 to 6 weeks, he's got a real nice floor, not much of a ceiling. But I think this week you might catch lightning in a bottle, and it's Tennessee Titans quarterback Will Levis.
That's your boy.
That's my boy. I think he's got about a 20-point floor, which is nice for a quarterback that wasn't even drafted. They're going against the weakest passing defense in the game. The Jaguars are in shambles. I do think it'll be pretty competitive because it's a division game. Yeah. But I think this is a game where Will Levis shows you a decent ceiling because, the floor's there. He's got Akine, who catches 4 touchdowns a game on 4 catches. Not literally, but you get what I'm saying. And then the other wide receiver, maybe we talk about him later in the video, but I think he's going to have a boom game too. So I think Their defense will cause turnovers to get the offense enough time to move the ball, have some good, valuable possessions. And if you need to stream a quarterback this week, I think he's a perfect streaming quarterback.
I agree. I don't now. I've finally seen enough for Will Levis to stream him this week because we got 6 teams on the bye. He's been volatile, but I've seen him. I've seen the dude get better in the pocket. I want to give him his flowers right now. He's getting better, and that's all I need to see from young quarterbacks. I don't expect him to go out and have a Pat Mahomes rookie season or a second season. I would say. Yes, I think he's a good streamable guy. So going on into my guy, and it's another streamable type guy. It's Aiden O'Connell from the Las Vegas Raiders.
I'm starting him in a super flex this week.
Yes, sir. So listen, guys, Aiden O'Connell, to me, he helps Brock Bowers, he helps Jacoby Myers, and he helps Trey Tucker because he has a stronger arm, and the defense don't sit on top of all the routes like they do with Gardner Minshew. I don't think Gardner Minshew, even if he was healthy, I think they need to start Aiden O'Connell for the rest of the year. And going into next year for the bridge quarterback. Now, if they get one of these top end rookies, then yeah, you start Shadir or you start what's the other quarterback that's come out of college? Shadir and who?
I mean, who do you think they're gonna go after? It'd be him. Like, he's the prize, in my opinion. You got Manning will probably
Cam Ward. Cam Ward. Right. Cam
Ward.
Yeah. But I don't think Quentin Ewers is that good. But anyway, yes, I like Aiden O'Connell. I'm streaming him this week. I think he has a big arm, and I think he could throw for 2 passing touchdowns, and that's good enough to be in your top 12 with 6 teams on a bye.
He's gonna be I don't think the game's going to be close. I think it'll be a blowout. He'll be chasing points, and he showed a lot of poise last week on the road against a good defense. And like you said, versus Minshew's like a dink and dunk guy, and this guy is more of a gunslinger, and he doesn't seem to be afraid to launch the ball down the field. And like with Bowers, and I think Jacoby Myers is going to have a nice week. Like, these are going to be good streams this week. So I think that's a great take. Super cheap in DraftKings. He's not even $5,000. It's $4,800. So I think he'll have a good floor. I see him maybe turning the ball over once or twice, but he's going to be slinging that pigskin. So
I want to and Charlene, I see you said Tua is a stream. I don't think Tua is a streamable quarterback. I think Tua is a starter. Like, he's a top 5 quarterback.
Tua is still underrated. He doesn't get respect. Even in the changeup of the offense, he's still putting up the same numbers. Tyreek is taking a slight hit. But you've seen the emergence of Jonnu. You've seen the dump off pass game to
Devon A-Chain.
Yeah, so I don't think he's a streamer, but what I think she's saying is, like, if you have one of those quarterbacks on bye, he's a perfect guy to start.
Yes.
And I agree.
Yes. All right, you go ahead. You can start off with your running back, bruh.
All right, so this it's not really a hot take. I just think he's in line to have a great game this week. It's Alvin Kamara. They're going on the road, and they're playing the Giants. I do think this game will probably be a blowout. I don't see it being close. I see the Saints defense making plays, depending on who the quarterback starter is. Is it DeVito or is it other homie?
Drew
Lock. Like, that even strengthens the case more. So I think they'll turn the ball over against him several times and give the Saints offense to move the ball and sustain drives. I can see Kamara ending his touchdown drought this week. No Taysom Hill, dump off passes, clock killing drives. Like, he's a perfect start. And I know it's not a hot take, but I think he's going to be a top player this week.
Right. Well, it don't got to be a hot take, but this is what I say. I've been seeing questions about Alvin Kamara, and when I see him, and I want to be fair because I understand I'm providing content, but I'm like, guys, that's crazy. You talking about Alvin Kamara? Are you going to start him? I don't care if I'm in a 4-team league. I'm starting Alvin Kamara. That's just the way I see fantasy. Because if you're trying to look for a perfect start every week, you're going to miss over the boom guys. Guys play good against bad matchups a lot. Sometimes when their quarterback is out, especially a guy like Alvin Kamara, where he don't have a weakness in his game. He can take 20 carries up the middle. He can run outside. He can catch 10 passes. He can do punt return, kick return. He can do anything. He can go back to the Wildcat like Taysom Hill does. So I think Alvin Kamara is a great start. You got to start this guy every week. And I thought it was good for you to bring him up because sometimes people get too cute and they want to be like, should I start Alvin Kamara?
100 every week. It doesn't matter. And the thing that's been weird with Kamara this year, he's in the twilight of his career. Right. This will be the first season where he gets 1,000 rushing yards.
I
They're
know,
using
right?
him like,
and he's a Hall of Famer.
They're using him. It's crazy. They're using him like a traditional bell cow, and he's actually losing PPR value. So I think that probably comes back a little bit this week. He's having a career year. I mean, not maybe an explosive fantasy year, but like he's going to set a milestone that he's never reached before. He's going to have 1,000 yards rushing. He's never done that.
Right. Got a super chat from my homie TZ D-Man. What's up, bro? He says, good morning, TD. Win and get in. Full PPR at flex. Jalen Warren, Thielen, and Njoku or Braden Allen. I got Jonnu Smith at the tight end, by the way. So he says, win and get in. Full PPR at flex. He need a flex play. You got to go with Braden Allen.
Who the Jets are playing Miami, right?
Yes.
He's a good one. I was looking at Thielen.
I like Thielen, man, but how can you set a running back when he's the backup and he finally gets his opportunity? If you can't play him this week, when are you going to be able to get him in your lineup, Harambe?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think they're going to struggle against Miami, and I'm not so keen on his pass catching ability. So, like, maybe in a game where they're like a lock to win, but to me, it's not a bad start. Like, he could explode. He could do well. He could get a goal line or two. I'm just a little weary about the matchup, but like you say it all the time on this channel, don't play fantasy based on matchups. Some of us do sometimes. This would be the one of those times for me with Braylon Allen.
Right. And I respect that, but I'm starting Braylon Allen. Now listen, if it was against Pittsburgh Steelers or somebody that I knew like really, really good. Now, the Miami Dolphins is a sneaky defense, and I want to give a shout out to Charlene. She's been talking about them since last year. They are a sneaky defense. They're really good for the passing game. They can get after the quarterback, but they can be had if you got a good run game. So with the young stud out there, man, I think he's going to run very hard. And I just think it's a great opportunity. I could be biased because I've been talking about Braylon Allen a lot, as far as if anything happened to Breach. But man, I'm starting Braylon Allen, and I love it. But I respect what you're saying. Miami could come out and hit them in the mouth, but I also think Aaron Rodgers is going to back him up a little bit, man. He's going to hit Devontae Adams for some deep plays here and there.
He's he's playing for potential suitor for next season. It could be another scenario where the Jets come out and just punch the Dolphins in the face. Like, I could see that happening too. If it's me personally, I feel it's a volatile start. But then again, you can win fantasy weeks by making volatile starts. So I don't think it's a bad start. Siobhan, what's up, Siobhan? She said he has fresh legs, which he does.
Yes.
The Jets are folding it in. They need to see who to retain, plan for the draft. So this guy could get fed 20 times in the game. He could. So it's not a bad start.
Right. I agree with you 100%. Okay. So it's me, right?
Yeah, running back.
Yeah. No. So you did Alvin Kamara. I like that you talked about Alvin. So now it's time for him now, Harambe. Marvin Harrison Jr. He had 12 targets last week. So it's the fourth quadrant, and now they give him 12 targets. That's why I told y'all the fourth quadrant matters. Like, you would say, well, why didn't they give him 12 targets week 1 or 2 and 3 and 4 and 5? And
he's a rookie.
Week 13 to give him 12 targets?
I remember we had this conversation before the season started. I was high on him. You weren't so high on him, which I totally get why. And it's not bad takes on why you weren't high on him. You're talking about the fourth quadrant, and I said I would take MHJ as high as maybe the second or third, and I actually took him in the second round in my home league, and they're like, you're crazy. He did okay, but I drafted so well that I didn't need to rely on that guy.
You covered. Yes.
And now it's time that this dude takes me to the promised land.
Right. So yeah, guys, he had 12 targets, 5 catches for 60 yards, and 1 TD. He's going to be getting 10 targets for here on out for the rest of the season. Play him.
Yep.
You got to start him. You can't look at no matchups. Ain't no matchups for Arizona per se. What I mean is, it's no common denominator to say, well, I need to sit Kyler and I need to sit Marvin Harrison Jr. because of this matchup. They
Nope.
could play against a high school team and do bad. And they could play against the Baltimore Ravens or the Pittsburgh Steelers and score 40 points.
It's the
So I
NFL,
just think
man.
you just got to start your guys.
I'm excited to see how he closes out the season. That division is the most competitive dumpster fire I've ever seen.
Right.
We're almost getting to NFC South levels with the NFC West. So
Right.
every team in that division is still alive.
Right.
So I think like they see what they have. He closes out the year strong and like, yeah,
Right.
10 plus targets a week.
Yep.
So yeah, I love that take, and I'm proud to have him on my squad. It's been tricky a lot of the year, but I'm 10-3. I'm the second
Right.
seed. It's time to use them. So I'm
Right.
excited.
And I love what you said about nobody knows that. You know why I can draft? I don't mind drafting guys like Rashid Shaheed and who else? Even Tyreek Hill in the first round, and my teams are still playoff bound. It's because I draft well and they covered. That's why I always say, draft your guys. And sometimes if you draft a guy a little bit too early, you still can win. You just got to be patient with them. Don't drop them. A lot of people drop Marvin Harrison Jr. in trade. Guys, I don't trade my players. If I believe in you, I'm not going to trade you because I know the fourth quadrant could probably be a breakout. So I love what you said around me about, yes, I probably overdrafted Marvin Harrison Jr. in the second round, but I drafted well at other spots. And so now that it's his time, I can go ahead and plug him in and have that boom team that I wanted from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and I play with guys in my league who say fantasy is just luck, and I think that's bullshit.
I think it's
I think
bullshit. I do too.
I think luck is an element of fantasy,
Yeah, there you
but
go.
you draft well, you make good waiver claims
Right.
and good trades, and that will raise your odds of having better luck.
Fact.
So I argue with these guys all the time. They're like, it's luck, it's luck. I'm like, no, it's not, dude. If it's luck, then just draft all New York Giants and hope that you're lucky. Like, get the fuck out of here. Pardon my French.
Right. No, you good. You good. You facts, bro. I
And
agree.
that's basically like what happened when I drafted him in the second. They were like laughing at me. I'm like, I'm not worried about it, man. I know my draft's gonna be good, and I'll rely on this guy when I need to, and that's coming to fruition now. It's beautiful.
Right. Yep. All right, let's see who your wide receiver is, Haram. Who's your wide receiver starter of the week?
So I actually saw a comment earlier. I think it was from Jimmy's TV. This
Okay. What's
guy
up,
is.
Jimmy?
What's up, Jimmy? It's Calvin Ridley, revenge game, and that kind of ties in with my Will Levis start as well. After the bye, his targets went way up because D Hop got moved, right?
Right.
You saw Ridley's floor raise a little bit. He's had some decent games. He has the potential to have a big game, and I think that's this week. I think he has a revenge. I think he has a big touchdown, probably a lot of targets against his old team that just shipped him off. So I think he's a good start. I don't think he's volatile. I think he'll have a safe floor, and he'll be used to win the game versus the divisional opponent, Jaguars.
Facts. I have nothing to say about that. I remember earlier this year we talked about Marvin Harrison. We talked about Calvin. And why did I tell you that I didn't want to draft Calvin Ridley early? I didn't want to draft him early at his ADP.
I don't actually remember what you said, but I do know you weren't like as high on him as I was.
Right. I said, man, that I thought this offense was going to struggle early. And I didn't want to be counting on Calvin Ridley and be like, man, you only scored 8, because that's the kind of player and that's the kind of development that this team needed. But now it's different. And you can start them, and because they have a little flow. So in fantasy, guys, you always get 4 or 5 teams that they are kind of out of the playoffs, but they got fantasy players that's going to be trending for the fourth quadrant. And Calvin Ridley is that guy right now. So I like Calvin Ridley. I've been starting for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And whatever happens, happens. That's just what Calvin Ridley is. I don't think he's ever going to be a consistent 18-point guy or something per week. I just think he's going to have some volatile weeks, and then he's going to have some boom weeks, and that's okay for Calvin Ridley. But you just got to know who you're drafting.
He to me is like this year specifically is like he's like a Zay almost. Like we're relying on these boom games from Zay, and they haven't really happened, but he's
Right.
a safe start. And then some weeks he doesn't do so well. So like they're kind of the same guy to me.
Yeah.
In fantasy.
Right.
But I do love both of them. I'm a fan of both players. So
right. Okay, so let's move on to the tight end. I appreciate everybody being here. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. So the tight end, and I've talked about this guy earlier in the week when I said stream this guy, but it's going to be Juwan Johnson. Don't y'all know last year in the fourth quarter, the Juwan Johnson was the number 2 tight end. He finished as the number 1 tight end in fantasy football championship week, which was week 17. With no Taysom Hill, Chris Olave not active, no Rashid Shaheed, who you think they're gonna throw the ball to? MVS is good, but he can't get 12 targets. So I think Juwan Johnson gets 7 to 8 targets for about 4 or 5 catches, and maybe hopefully he gets a touchdown. So I'm starting Juwan Johnson.
I love it, man. I picked him up in a few leagues just to kind of hold. And if you look at his game, his box scores the last 2 years, he's closed the last 2 years out very strong. I don't expect it to be maybe we shouldn't be talking about this. I don't expect it to be any different this year. He's pretty explosive when he gets the ball. Like you said, they're weak at receiver right now. They have MVS, but like he's not a possession guy. He's just 2 catches and a touchdown type guy. I actually think Juwan Johnson scores the first touchdown in that game this week.
Right.
Love that take. I'm a fan of his too. He's a converted wide receiver from Oregon.
Right. Real quick, just for transparency, I see a comment that says the right side is a little too dark. I don't see it. I think Harambe is well lit up.
I lit it up after I saw that comment.
Okay.
A little bit. So hopefully this is okay.
Yeah. Thank you. I don't mind that type of comment. That's a fair-minded comment to help us out.
Absolutely. We want the experience to be good for you guys too. So obviously we want to get feedback from you.
Right. But he ain't trolling. That's the difference. He ain't trolling.
I'll take care of the trolls. Don't worry about the trolls. I'm a master troll.
Yes.
I love that take.
Who's your tight end, bro?
I love your take on Juwan. I call him Juwan Man. Great player. I'm a fan of his. I think he's underutilized on that team. I wish they would use him more over the course of a whole year.
Right.
My tight end.
It's Taysom Hill's fault. Now that Taysom Hill's gone, I think we're gonna really get to see Juwan Johnson. I think Taysom Hill takes targets from Juwan.
He's a problem in the secondary, man. Juwan is a problem.
Yeah.
So for my tight end, it's a household name for the position. I chose him this week because this team has been struggling massively with L's and with injuries. They're still in the competition to win their division. It's George Kittle. It's George Kittle. It's George Kittle. They're going to be at home. They're going to be against a weak team, a team that's imploding, a team I feel they'll beat handedly, and they'll do it with their, tried and true weapons like George Kittle. They'll give the ball to Jennings, and everyone's high on Garendo, which I totally get. I don't think this week specifically he just explodes. I don't see that happening. I do see him scoring and getting a good amount of touches like a starting running back would, but they need to win. And the quarterback knows what's quarterback's best friend, TD?
The tight end.
The tight end. So pause. If they need to win this game and like maintain in the division that's still wide open, he's going to give it to his safety blanket, and that's George Kittle.
Right.
I think it's a solid start.
Right. And guys, and this great take on George Kittle, but I've never played matchups with George Kittle. Never. I don't care if Romby, if you're the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, I'm still starting George Kittle.
Every time.
That's just the way I play fantasy. But I do get there are situations where you might have a bunch of great tight ends out there on the waivers, and it's a different type of league, and you might can stream a better guy. I get those situations, but I want to get in y'all minds and into y'all heads, into y'all thinking process. You guys like that, you have to start them even against bad matchups because they are like great players. So I'm going to keep starting George Kittle no matter what's going on. Then Debo, I faded this year. And I don't want to get off topic, but I faded Debo because of his injury history. And I think San Francisco know that he's probably over the hill with his injuries, and they probably going to move on from him next year. That doesn't mean that Debo is a bad player, but he's just too volatile. He's always hurt. But Kittle's a little bit different. Kittle does get hurt, but I'm always starting Kittle. But Debo's just a little bit different. So I think we have to put Debo in a different category at this point in time of his career. What do you think about that real quick?
I have Debo in Dynasty and Jennings in Dynasty, and Debo's been on the bench the last couple weeks. So
yeah.
I chose Kittle because like it's start of the week, right? Like this guy is a surefire start, no problem.
Right.
So that's why I took him. It's not a hot take, but I see like, I don't know why people do this, and it alludes to the point you're making of always start your studs. If someone's down on a bad week or 2 bad weeks in a row, people bench guys like George Kittle. Like if you go on Amon Ra's comments, are like, we can't trust this guy. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? You guys, what is this amateur hour? Like start your studs. They will deliver for you. They will.
Right. But it's kind of like, so this is what I would say, man. And I see, I always make metaphors towards life when it comes to fantasy. But people are fickle, bro. That's why I don't have a lot of friends. One day they're your friend, the next day they say you ain't shit. And that's how people do with fantasy. I'm loyal to a fault. CHB told y'all last time I went live, he said TD won't drop his players. I won't. If I believe in you, I'm going down with this ship. You know how many shares of Daniel Jones that I have? Yeah, that don't mean that it's not affecting my team because I'm not starting them. But I still believe in Daniel Jones, and I'm not picking him up just to prove a point. It's just I believe when I watch him, I believe in that he's a good fantasy football player. And you can look at guys like Sam Darnold, and you can see like, well, Sam Darnold sucked 3 years ago. Why he's good now? Because he never sucked. It's just all about situation and opportunity. So just want to say that to get that out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's people, I don't know, I guess it's human nature, but we have the ability to react and not be proactive. We always react, and then we have hindsight. I should have done this. I should have done it. Take it as a lesson, man, and just move on. Like it drives me nuts. And in fantasy, I see it all the time.
Me too.
I have Amon-Ra St. Brown. I took him 7th overall, and it was a smash pick for me because I know what he brings. This year's been a little different. They don't need to rely on him. They're too good. But if I want a player I could rely on in my wide receiver spot, that would be one of the guys because I know what he can do. His floor's okay. His ceiling is decent, but like you know what you're getting every week. Right. They're saying in my chat on my iPhone that I have with the GMs in my league, they're like, he's not a first rounder. He's like, we're going to take him as early as the 3rd next year. I take him in the 3rd. I'm like, dude, he's the wide receiver 2 overall. And they're like, no, he's not. And I'm like, look it up. And they look and they're like, oh, it's lame. It's lame. I don't get it.
You know what, Robbie? I'm just realizing that I skipped my RB, didn't I?
You did.
Yes. And let's do it now. I saw it in the comment section. Great job. Mon Flux. Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle is my starter of the week. 19 carries and 22 carries the last 2 weeks. Now, with the 19 carries, he didn't have a touchdown, but the 22 carries he did. And he's also playing against the Cincinnati Bengals, who is one of the worst teams against the run. They got a lot of injuries on the defensive side. Logan Wilson is out. I'm starting Rico, and I think Rico is a great starter. I talked about Rico all season long. I wanted him to be an all-quadrant player, but it seems like he's going to be a 4th quadrant player because Cooper Rush is on this out playing. Cooper Rush is starting now. When Cooper Rush is playing for the Dallas Cowboys, we are a better team because everybody is trying to play their best ball. But when Dak plays, it's like a superhero ball. Let's just throw it to CeeDee Lamb and see how many stats we can get. I like the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys is going to be sneaky. You better beat us. If not, we can sneak in the back door of the playoffs. Philly don't want to play us because it's a divisional game. The Washington Commanders don't want to play us. Michael Parsons is fresh. He went on IR. That's the best thing that happened to this defense. So yes, I love Rico Dowdle. I think Rico Dowdle's gonna get a lot of opportunities, especially against Cincinnati, and I think he's gonna be good for the fourth quadrant. Rico Dowdle all day long.
I'm starting him. I picked him up last year in my dynasty league. I'm starting him with confidence. Guys, I'm a Bengals fan. Start your Cowboys this week. Their defense sucks. It's terrible. But, TD, I do think the Bengals win.
That's fine, and I don't think
Yeah,
that's a bad take. That's not a bad take. I'm only saying that we're going to win and we got a chance because Cincinnati got a little kink in the armor. We can beat them. Like if we
absolutely.
can, Chase had a what? Ankle injury. What is Chase going on with Chase?
I think he heard it when he was grittying at practice.
Right, right. So I just see a little kink in the armor. So I'm gonna take advantage of it when it comes to my Cowboys.
And I will say this about your Cowboys. They're a cornered animal is a dangerous animal. So like they got nothing to lose. They could do whatever they want. Trick plays, random stuff. I would expect that to happen against a super weak defense.
Right, but we do got a chance to get into the playoffs though.
As a wild card,
Yeah, as a wild card.
how many games back are the Cowboys? Like 2?
Yes, two. I think we 2 games back from the Washington Commanders in the because they ahead of us too. But we got to play them and we got to play Philly. Our destiny is in front of us. If we could win out, we definitely could get the 7th seed.
Okay, yeah. See, then in my opinion, the Cowboys could be a dangerous. Again, it's a
That's what I'm saying. They dangerous.
cornered
We're not
animal.
gonna win
It's
the Super
dangerous.
Bowl, but we just dangerous.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think they're a dangerous team. They got nothing to lose, and it's right
Right.
in front of them. So
Facts. Okay,
yeah,
brothers, who your tight end?
it was Kittle.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so we're going to flex. So let me go to my flex.
Okay.
Okay, so my flex of the week, guys. I've talked about this guy earlier in the week. It's going to be Trey Tucker from the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, listen, that's very volatile, but I think it's a connection with Aiden O'Connor. Early in the year when Trey Tucker was doing well, you know who the quarterback was around me?
It was O'Connell.
Come on now.
Yep.
So I think Trey Tucker, guys, is going to be a sneaky play as a flex play, and I see him on like most waivers. So let me tell you what he did against the number one defense. The number one defense before last game was the Denver Broncos, and this is what he did. He had 7 catches on 8 targets for 82 yards. Okay, so then he plays against the Kansas City, which they are great in the slot. They got McDuffie who plays in the slot a lot. But guess what? He still had 1 catch for 58 yards and a TD. Now that's volatile, but that's what Aiden O'Connor is. He can push the ball downfield, and that helps Trey Tucker, who's one of the fastest players in the NFL. So I'm streaming Trey Tucker this week if I have a wide receiver on the bye. I like Trey Tucker over Brandon Cooks. Who else would I like? Do I like Trey Tucker over? I like him over a few guys this week that people are trying to get into their lineups. Over Jalen Tolbert.
What about Waddle?
Nah.
No.
Nah. Waddle's I'm starting Waddle and just he's no. I'm not starting Trey Tucker over Waddle.
I like Trey Tucker. Kind of goes back to talking about Aiden O'Connell earlier in the stream. Like they're going to be chasing points. He's a wide receiver. You got a gunslinger quarterback, and you saw this guy can deliver. Boom, right? So like that could happen again this week.
Facts.
And I see him getting actually more targets this week too.
Me too.
Yeah, good one, man. That's a good one. Super sleeper. Mine is a player who was drafted pretty high and has disappointed, except for maybe 2 games all year. He's on a really good team. He's on a playoff team. And this is a perfect scenario this week. And he's finally healthy for him to get in the motion of the offense, get ready for the playoffs. It's Devonta Smith. Yeah. He has disappointed most of the year. Anyone who drafted him could tell you that. What I see this week against the Panthers, the Eagles need to win for sure because Detroit won. So they're chasing that 1 seed, right?
Right.
I don't think this game's going to be close. I don't think the Panthers will be like decent like they've been the past couple weeks. The only trustworthy Panther, in my opinion, in this game is Adam Thielen. I wouldn't start any other player, not Leggett, not nothing. And what I think is going to happen on the side of the Eagles is they're going to try to get this guy up to speed and get him ready for their playoff run. And what better way to do it against the trash team like the Panthers. And I hate to say that because it's like an NFL team, but like it's a weak opponent. The Eagles should smash them this week. And I see them really trying to get Mr. Smith set up for the playoff run. I think it's a perfect week to do that.
I agree with most of what you were saying. I think it's a terrible matchup for Carolina. Even though Bryce Young has been playing great, I don't want to start him. I have him in a dynasty league, and I'm still probably not going to start Bryce Young, even though he's been playing out of his mind. But the only guy I would start Chuba. And this goes to probably more of a prerogative play for me. But, man, Chuba, outside of that fumble, he's been playing great. To me, man, he's a top 5 running back, not in stats, but in just if you watch the film, according to PFF, his evade tackle rate, picking up the blitz, catching passes, scoring in the green zone, he's been killing it.
He to me is is Kyron Williams. They're like the same player almost. They run the same. They like remind me. Their play styles remind me of each other. He's the same guy. Like he's gonna get the most of the goal line, the important carries, majority of the carries, and if he's using the pass game a little bit, yeah, he's gonna return value.
Right.
That I think that's a fair start. If I had him, I'm probably starting Chuba.
Right.
He's a stud. I get what you're saying. And I don't disagree with it. And I don't think they're going to really run Brooks too much in this game. Maybe late to kill the clock. But, like, yeah, I think they're going to go try to win the game. I just don't think they're going to win the game.
Right. But, this could be a trap game.
It could.
Carolina has a lot to play for because they are a young team. They're not worried about the playoff. They trying to like Bryce Young got a point to prove. Adam Thielen trying to go out on top with his career. Chuba got a lot to prove, even though he got a bag, but he was like, "Hey, I'm better than what y'all think." So I think that could be a trap game. But if they go out here and they get up on them 14-0, the game is over. But if they fight and they throw a pick or something like that, they in for a dogfight. Carolina, you see what they did against Kansas City. Not saying Kansas City is a world beater right now, but these NFL teams, man, it's tough, man. They can win any game, man. So I think Philly got to come out early and step on their throat in order to beat them.
I think if the Eagles get like the first possession of the game, they're going to try to step on their throats right away. Like I think they're going to throw the ball down the field immediately. And the Eagles passing game past few weeks has been struggling. So I think they it's like a get right game for those position players. I think Saquon's probably going to have a nice first half, then they'll probably take him out. They'll probably take out Jalen in the fourth, maybe. I see a scenario where that unfolds, but I think the Eagles play good defense and try to get that passing game humming towards the playoffs.
Right. And Adam, you made a great point. This is a great teaching moment. He says the Eagles haven't allowed a top 10 running back performance all year. I know, and I don't care. I don't. Those type of numbers do not affect me. Because
you just want points.
I just want points. That's all. That's all. I'm not trying to look for the number 1 RB to start this week. Chuba is a great player, and I'm starting him. I just don't break the game down to that level. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I just think that's overthinking it. What do you say about that, Rami? According to what Adam, because he made a great point. He said the Eagles is the best run defense. Those 2 D tackles are nasty, but I'm not gonna sit a guy like Chuba if he's my RB2 on my team, right?
Yeah, like even say the Panthers get beat down, which I think will happen. They should get a couple goal line scenarios, and they'll hand it off to him. If he scores one time and has like 3 catches and maybe like 40 to 60 yards, that's startable. 100%.
That's startable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What up, Will?
So let's get through some of these questions, bro. We might not be able to get to all of them, but we'll try to get to as many as we can. And guys, if you want to make sure your questions get answered, you need to make sure you super chat.
We'll start at the top.
Yes, sir. If you don't mind.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you can start it off, and then once if you get tired, just let me know. Then I'll start reading some of them out.
D-Lion, Charlene, what's up? She likes to keep 2 defenses in her league because they're worth more than some RBs, wide receivers, because of scoring format. I'm carrying 2 defenses as well heading into the playoffs. Rubio said not Dallas. They are looking better though. They are. I mean, they're seeing what they got and they're trying to scrape into the playoffs. So they're a dangerous team in the fact that like you don't mess with a cornered animal or a caged animal. So like
Facts.
they could be dangerous. Durf Boy 22. What's up, Durf? He said the guy I'm playing against has Pasted Jameis. I have Judy and Mooney starting. Should I replace Mooney with Elijah Moore? So if Winston throws a touchdown, it goes to him. Is Tillman
Yes,
is
I
Tillman
would
playing?
play. I would play Elijah Moore over Mooney because of Cedric Tillman being out.
I don't think if Tillman's out, then I'm starting Moore for sure.
Yes.
The Cleveland offense is like they're high flying and they're taking risks and they're pushing the ball down the field, which equates to a lot of fantasy points. Uh, Moore's floor is probably 10 points.
Right.
Yeah. And Durf, that strategy I would do as well because you want to counterbalance what you're playing against. So if he's throwing to Moore, you're going to pace Jameis with those points. So yeah,
Yep.
I would start Moore. Don't be surprised if Kirk has a bounce back game though.
Right. Well, you said who?
Kirk Cousins.
Yes. Yeah, I won't be surprised, bro, but I can't start that right now.
For sure.
I would play Drake London if I had to. I would play B. I'm definitely playing B. John, but that's the only guys that I'm willing to risk with Kirk Cousins until I see a little bit better.
For sure. Yeah, we're going off the recent trends, and the recent trends point to Elijah Moore and the Browns.
Right.
Yeah, I
All
get
right,
you, man.
You want to do the super chat?
Oh, we got a super chat from Frizzle. Good morning, Frizzle. AOC or Kyler Murray? So O'Connell or Murray this week? That's actually that's closer than one would think, and I think that's a spicy tomato. Like, what's your take on that one, TD? You going AOC?
I'm going with Murray.
I think you got to.
You got to because he's you can't get here and go away from it and then he score big. I say you can win even if Murray doesn't have a big game. Hopefully you can still win, but you have to play Murray. That's just getting cute. That's just going to the prom, and then you see a pretty girl and you leave your date, and you like, well, let me try to see if this is going to work. Maybe I can hang out with her tonight, and now you might go home by yourself. I think you need to go ahead and dance with the girl that you came to the party with, and I think that's Kyler Murray.
Yeah, like this late in the season, you didn't draft O'Connell, you drafted Murray. You start Murray. I think I just like the matchup again. Like I don't like to really harp too much on matchups, but they're playing for a playoff spot to win the division.
Right.
They're at home.
Right.
They have not been too explosive lately, even for fantasy purposes. So I think you get an explosive Cardinals offense on Sunday, and they're playing against the Seahawks, correct?
Right.
The Seahawks throw the ball a lot.
Right.
Top 3 throwing team in the league. So if the Seahawks get a lead, which is possible, Cardinals defense has been playing pretty good lately. But if they get a lead, Kyler's going to have to throw it, and he can run as well, which we all know running quarterback is fantasy gold. So probably going to start Murray as well.
Right. Right. I agree with that.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. I guess I'm gonna take over because my phone is getting ready to go dead. I cannot charge it at this point in time. So
yeah, take over.
I'm just kind of skip over and go to certain people comments. I'm gonna try to get to all the members. But I got another super chat from Pharaoh. What's up, bro? Glad to see you here, bro. He says Braylon Allen, Najee Harris, or Rico Dowdle. That's a great question. That's one of the toughest questions. I'm going to go with Braylon.
Rico.
Yeah, Rico's a great one. I'm going with Braylon. Because he's been waiting the whole time to get the start. And I want to play him where there's no breach. So I'm going to go with Braylon Allen.
I would personally go Rico. I'm not going to fault any one of these are good, especially if Allen's going to get the touches this week. They like to run, so
Right.
yeah.
We got another super chat in the house from my homeboy Frizz. What's up, bro? He says, I'm also starting Calvin Austin. Great start. I almost put him in here, but the concussion kind of got me off of him, even though he passed concussion protocol. But he says, I'm also starting Calvin Austin, Brandon Cooks, and Trey Tucker over Devontae Smith this week. Standard. Am I crazy for sitting Smith? Yes. I think you got to put him in over one of those guys.
I'm probably going to start Smith.
Yes. I'm starting Smith. Whichever guy you want to take out, I think that's up to you because all those guys got some upside. So you got to choose which guy that you're going to play Smith over. But I'm definitely playing Smith out of those guys.
Yeah, that's a good question though.
Okay. Let's see. Charlene says Parsons, Overshown, and Turpin are healthier now. Dallas can get back to good status of DST. Facts. Another super chat by Paola's. Paolo says Pacheco, Debo, or Calvin Austin in the flex. I'm going with.
Ooh.
That's tough. I know that's very tough. I'm gonna go with Pacheco slightly over Debo and Calvin.
That's a tough one, man. I don't think you'll agree with this, but for this week specifically, I'd probably go Debo.
I don't think that's a bad pick.
I just think they're in a win now. They have to win, and they're going to use their weapons to win. So right. I like Austin as well. I think he's a sneaky flex guy on a weekly basis with Russell, last name Wilson, at the controls. But I like Debo as a start specifically this week at home against the Bears. They should smash the Bears.
Right.
They should.
King of Nike says, "What up, my guy? God bless you. God bless you too, bro.
Yep.
Charlene says, "Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that, Charlene." King of Nike says, "Good call, TD on Watson. I started him in both leagues. And I ain't trying. I guess I take the good call, but bruh, I had to start Watson. Why wouldn't I? Mean, when Jaden Reed, not Jaden Reed, but when Romeo Dobbs is out, I mean, you got to start him. But I appreciate it. I mean, how did you feel about Watson? Did you start Watson in any leagues? Did you have any shares of Watson?
I had him in a DraftKings match specifically for that game.
Right.
You got to start Watson, man. Like Dobbs is out. It's a divisional game. They're on the road. You know they're going to be chasing points and like trading jabs all game. Like that's a guy you can knock someone in the face with.
Right.
Yeah. I would have started Watson. If I had Watson, I would have started him 100%.
Right. Yep. Appreciate that, King of Nike. Another super chat from Gil. What's up, Gil? Appreciate it. He says, "What up, bro? Connor or Garendo in the flex?" That is very, very, very tough. Woo!
That is tough, man.
Let me look at something real quick. I got to go to the rankings. Let me look at something. I don't know.
That's tough. These are good questions, you guys.
Yeah, it is. Good job, guys. Good job. You're killing it.
Personally, I think personally I'm gonna go Connor.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Connor. I think that's kind of a dance with the girl that you came to the party with a little bit, right?
Yeah. I just the game's super important. They're at home. It's a must win for the Cardinals. He's one of their best players. Like he's gonna get a goal line opportunity or two. Right. If anything. I like Garendo a lot this week as well.
I do too.
And I'm not saying he's gonna like bust. This dude has tangibles that are off the charts. Like he's super fast, he's shifty, he's hard to take down. But I just see specifically again this week, I think like the Niners don't rely on him heavily to win the game. He's a rookie.
Right.
I like Connor, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Connor too, man. I think you should try to get Garinder in your lineup, but I can't put him in over Connor.
If
That's
you
a
could,
great question.
if you could
That's a
start
great
both,
question.
if you could start both, start both.
Right. Real quick, I want to go to Charlene because she's mentioned something that's kind of relevant. She said Shanahan said we need to use Debo more often. Yes, but with CMC being out, I could see why you would want to start him, like Harambe said. I don't know. I maybe this could be coach talk. I just don't see them using Debo. I like Jawan Jennings more than I like Debo this week. How do you feel about that?
I do too, but it's like a scenario, in my opinion, for the Eagles and the Panthers. Like it's a good get right week for the Niners position players this week. Debo being one of them.
Right.
I could see Debo scoring this week. I don't think he's going to be like hyper targeted. That's Jennings. That's going to be Jennings and Kittle.
Right.
But they might scheme up a few plays here for Debo to try to secure a win. I just think it's a volatile start, but it could pay off.
Right. Let's see here. What you laughing at?
Just some of the comments. Thomas says, never trust what Shanahan says, and that's facts. Like,
Right.
you can't trust him on a CMC injury. Why would you trust him for anything else?
Right. Right.
They need to be fined for that, man. That's criminal what they did to some fantasy GMs this year.
Right. But that's why you got to be able to make your own. You got to make your own mind up sometimes.
I agree with you, Thomas. I agree, man. It's not a bad take.
MVM says, "Good morning, TD. Herbert, Wilson, or Levis." I'm
gonna go with Wilson.
I feel like Russell Wilson, the way he's playing, is almost gimmickly off of George Pickens. It's like a gimmick. I don't mean that George Pickens is a gimmick, but I don't see Russell cooking like he was in Seattle. I see if Pickens has a great game, then Russell can. That's so it makes it tough for me to ever want to play Russell Wilson.
If all his players are playing, like, well, Pickens came up with a hammy injury yesterday, did he not?
Yeah, they said that. They did say that. Yes.
If he doesn't play, I'm not starting Wilson. I'll probably go with Levis. If he does play, I'm starting Wilson. That's my take on that. They need to win that game.
I'm thinking about going with Justin Herbert if Ladd plays. Do you think Ladd's going to play?
I think Ladd plays, and then he'll like rest on. They'll take him off the field on certain plays. It's too important of a game for him not to play.
Right.
I do think he plays, and he's a pretty tough kid, so I think he plays. The thing with Herbert, man, if you look at his game log, and it's not to take away what he is, I think Herbert's an elite quarterback.
Right.
The coach is more of a smash mouth football type guy, and I don't see him being able to air it out a lot against the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense is pretty good, and in primetime games, they seem to rise to the occasion and punch the Chargers in the face. I think he struggles. Like, I think Jones on KC gives him problems all night. I think Bolton, the linebacker, will give the short and intermediate routes fits in that game. And if Pacheco could get going, like, it might be a long night for the Chargers offense.
Right.
QJ, I don't trust QJ.
Right.
I don't trust Palmer. And a lot of these passes, when you guys are watching these games, they're errant passes. Like, he's overthrowing receivers. They're bombing the ball down the field. His receivers aren't doing him any justice. And Jim Harbaugh is like a running style coach. So the guy I'm watching in this game is the tight end, Disley, and Edwards and Vidal.
Right. Yeah, I would probably say Levis has the best matchup, but I would probably go down with the ship with Herbert. I think QJ can steps up this week. I think Palmer, one of these guys, I don't trust him, but I think they all together collectively make some big plays because you can't run the ball against Kansas City. They're good at that. So maybe some play action opportunities and checking it down to Kamani Vidal. Maybe Herbert gets going for 2 passing touchdowns. So I'm just gonna go with Herbert. That's just
Yeah,
me.
it's not a bad take, and it goes to your point. Go down with the guys you drafted. Like, if I have Herbert, I'm starting him. It's gonna happen. I just like out of those 3 players presented, I just the matchup again. I like this week.
Right,
I'm playing matchups a lot, and I don't really. I could see it going bad. I don't
right.
know.
Bro, we splitting hairs here. You don't have
Yeah,
to explain yourself. That's why I brought you up to
I,
give everybody a different taste for whatever they need.
I
Pause.
got to be careful about splitting hairs. I don't got many to split, bro.
And to finish up, MVM says JSN, Tracy, Dowdle, Jennings, Braylon Allen need one for the flex. Chiefs, D, or Seahawks. I just told you to play Herbert, and then you Chiefs D, Seahawks. I'm still go with the Chiefs D.
Chris
I just don't
Jones.
trust the Seahawks against a divisional opponent like the Arizona Cardinals. I just
The
don't want to play the Seahawks. So I'm gonna say Chiefs, but I would rather you find somebody else to play.
Kansas City wins a lot because of their defense, and for some reason, you could go back several years. The Chiefs D line always gives the Chargers fits.
Right,
Always.
right,
Coaching is different, obviously, with Harbaugh, but Kansas City D line is the same thing. And Joe Alt on the Chargers side is a rookie. He's done very well this year, but like I don't know, man. I think the game plan for the Chiefs has put a lot of pressure on Justin Herbert.
right, right. Yeah. So who would you pick? I'll pick Braylon Allen. Who you gonna pick?
It was Allen and who else?
Braylon Allen, Jawan Jennings, Tracy, and Rico Dowdle, and JSN.
I like JSN.
Right, I do too. Only reason why I'm going with Braylon Allen is a running back, and he's getting all of the work. So that's the only. Other than that, I would have said, shit. I might even go to Dowdle before I get to JSN because it's great matchups from a running back.
I like
Um,
JSN because it's a game again. The Seahawks need to win.
right,
They'll be on the road, so the atmosphere will be electric. I think JSN's an electric player, and like you said in one of your lives recently, he's kind of the wide receiver 1 now.
he's the
With
wide receiver 1.
yeah, I do think DK has a good week this week as well,
Yes.
though. They
Yep.
need him to win the division, but I just think JSN's gonna have a nice floor game with a lot of targets, potential touchdown.
Right. Let's see here now. Got a super chat from Senor Rojo. He says, need 3 PPR, Westbrook and Keenum, Worthy, Jennings, Braylon. The 3 that I'm going with Jennings. If long as Purdy plays, Jennings, Braylon, and I'm going to go with Worthy. I think this is a big week for Worthy.
Yes, I was gonna say in prime time, if you look at his game log, he does pretty well in the primetime games. He's a mismatch when they use him. He's fast. He's hard to scheme for. And if they could get Pacheco going and get that secondary and the linebackers or whatever to kind of keep an eye on the running back, you might catch one over the top with Worthy.
Right. Guys, just make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This is cutting edge content. Mr. Two, says Levis or O'Connell. I'm gonna go with Levis over O'Connell.
I like Levis at home in a game against a weak opponent. It's a great game to prove what he can do going in to close the season and then going into next season as well. Like I don't think Will's playing for a job, but like if he has another season that's not great, maybe in 2 years he might be out of a job. So like he's got to prove himself a little bit more. And what you said too with him being more comfortable in the pocket, if he eliminates turnovers and fumbles, maybe 1 or 2 of those turns into a touchdown, which is
I
more
agree.
points for him.
Straight facts. Straight facts. Got another super chat from Frizz. I wish I had my soundboard, bro. You killing it today. Appreciate you, man. He said, should I stash Travis Homer or Patrick Taylor or not worth it? I don't think neither one of those guys are worth it at this point in time of the season.
Nope.
Let me see. Siobhan says, play St. Brown, only got 10.3, want to play Westbrook and Keno over Myers. Don't trust Devontae Smith. What do you guys think, Myers or NWI? I'm gonna say Devontae Smith, and I'm not going against you, Siobhan. You do whatever you feel because I know you're very intelligent when it comes to fantasy. But I'm glad you put Devontae Smith in there. I'm gonna tell you Devontae Smith, and I know a lot of you hide players because you know I'm gonna say that player. And I'm glad she put it in there. I think you got to play Devontae Smith, according to what Arambi's been talking about, and he also had him as one of his starts of the week. I agree. You have to play Devontae Smith. I know Westbrook and Keener is all good and touchdown every week, but that's not better than Devontae Smith, if you ask me.
That guy is having one of the flukiest seasons I've ever seen. He's gonna have 10 touchdowns and like 400 receiving yards, which is wild. I don't think it's safe. Like, I don't think he's a safe start,
I
even though
don't either.
he's been delivering. And like, congratulations to people who have been winning with him. I think that flips this week. I think Ridley is the guy this week.
Right. And I will play Myers before I play Westbrook and Keener.
Absolutely. Standard or PPR, he's getting targets out the wazoo. Westbrook Akine is getting 4 to 6 a game. Myers is going to get near 10, if not over 10 targets.
Right. Facts. Let me see here. Got another super chat from Rashik. Rashik, appreciate you being here. He says, "No, Westbrook and Kano or Shakir. My boy his hustle kings. I'm going with Shakir over Westbrook and Kano.
100%. Bills are going on the road. They're not the 1 seed. Are they the 1 seed now in the AFC? The Bills?
Yes.
So they're going to want to maintain that. And then this guy's one of the safest.
No, I'm sorry. They number 2 seed. Kansas City still got the number 1 seed. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So they're chasing and they're going on the road against an opponent that's a potential trap game. They're playing the Rams. I see the Rams putting up points, and the Bills are going to have to put up points. And to keep those drives going, he's going to go to his safety blanket, which is Khalil Shakir.
Right.
His target
Chris
share
Cofit with the
is
super chat. Appreciate you, bro. He says TD number 1 in both leagues, in both of my leagues. Need to clinch the bye. My opponent has breach, but I picked up Braylon Allen. Great job, bro. Flex Bray or Isaac. Got Chase Brown and Kyron. Woo! You got all them guys need to be started, but you're gonna have to choose between Braylon and Isaac.
I'm going Isaac.
Yeah, we're gonna split hairs here. I'm going with Braylon. I'm going with Braylon over Isaac.
Wow, spicy.
Yeah. Appreciate you, bro. Let me see. King of Nike says, what do you think about Kendre Miller? I think that he's a lost cause at this point, but it's okay. He's a good stash in case something happens to Alvin Kamara.
In Dynasties, worth hanging on to for maybe like another year to see what happens with Kamara. Kamara will be 30 next year, 29, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, like I give it 1 more year as a stash. If nothing happens, he's dead weight.
Okay. Let's see.
There's a comment I want to say thanks to, man.
Go ahead.
It's cool. From Master Samurai said, "Good team. You guys are great together."
Yes.
Thanks, man. We like doing this for you guys.
Right. And I've always known that I've needed somebody to come in because listen, it's almost the way I do my fantasy content is very, very edgy. And Harambe gives y'all a different perspective, even though he agreed with me on some things, and it levels everything out and makes it for better content. So I know that, guys. So I want to be able to have somebody up here as much as I can. So don't never think that I'm just saying, well, I just want the whole show to be for me. It's just all about when people are free. So I appreciate Harambe come up here. He's very knowledgeable in fantasy football, and I think it helps y'all guys to get a different perspective.
Absolutely.
Because like, TD, you want me to play Christian Watson and he ain't had a good game in 8 weeks? Yeah, I said what I said. So I know that sometimes that gets on y'all nerves a little bit. But
Brees
okay,
Hall
let's
is
get
out. Brees Hall is
who?
out. Braylon Allen to the moon.
Yes. You didn't know Breach Hall was out?
No, I thought he was questionable. I haven't
No,
looked
bro,
at
he
the news
out,
yet.
bro.
He's
He
out.
out.
All right, that changes things a little bit.
Yeah, he out. Let me see. Let me see here. Somebody said Njoku all day. Let's see. Dirkboy says Garendo or Braylon Allen. We did that already. Like I said, I think we both. I would say Braylon Allen. What are you still gonna say, Garendo?
Yeah, just because of the matchup, they're at home. But I wouldn't be surprised if Braylon Allen goes to the moon, man. He should score
Right. All right,
some goal
guys.
line.
Dixon said we're here for the edge. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man. We're gonna do about 3 more because my phone is on its last life. So we're gonna I'm gonna let you pick 2 and I'm gonna pick 2. I'm gonna try to go to the to some of the members. Let's do the members questions.
I got one here from Zach. Start
Okay.
Westbrook, Akine, Trey Tucker, or Will Dissly.
I'm going with Trey Tucker over Westbrook and Kena.
Wow. I'm probably gonna go Dissly. As weird as that sounds, I like Dissly. I like Dissly in this game, and I think they're gonna be challenged by the Kansas City defensive line, and he's gonna have to get the ball out quick.
Right. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Elisa says Braylon Allen or Brian Thomas Jr. half PPR. I'm going with Braylon Allen.
I like Braylon Allen over Thomas Jr. this week.
Okay. I got 2 more. I think I got 1 more question that I'm gonna do. Thomas says, "What up, guys? Playoff time is here. PPR flex 1, Braylon Allen or D Hop." I'm going with Braylon Allen. Wide receivers are Evans, DK, running backs are Kyron, B. John. So who you going with, Braylon Allen or D Hop?
I'll go with Allen as well. I think his touch count and his on the field percentage will be enough to have a good week over D Hop. I don't think D Hop's gonna have like a big boom week.
Okay. I see you, Big Will. Guys, I apologize to whoever didn't get their question answered, but I'm gonna try to go live later on today. But when I got this new mic, man, it drains the battery out of my phone, and I can't charge it because it will be making weird noise. So I just want to apologize to everybody. Aram, you can pick the last question. I don't really see any. If you pick a member.
Let's see here. We'll go with Zach again. He said, "Need to start another quarterback for a super flex league. Is Cooper Rush a good start this week?"
Yes, he's a solid streamable guy.
I think he'll have a safe floor against weak Bengals defense at home.
Yes.
And then one other thing. Goddard was put on IR, so if you guys need a tight end to close out the year, go grab that whatever his name is, Channing Tatumsworth or whatever.
Kentrell, yeah. Yeah, crazy.
Oh, and then Siobhan, let's get to hers too. Even with divisional matchup, should I start Njoku because Winston is slinging instead of Hawkinson? So Njoku or Hawkinson? That's a pretty good one.
Nah, that's easy for me. That's Njoku. I'm probably biased, but that's easy.
I think he'll have a better week than Hawkinson. I think this week Justin Jefferson gets back in the game, and they just abuse the Atlanta secondary with Justin Jefferson and the other receiver, Addison.
Right. Okay. Well, guys, I appreciate everybody being here. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. Like I said, I'm gonna be trying to go live more. Romby, it's better for us to go live in the morning. We might give you a couple fantasy footballs after dark before the season is over, and then the off season it'll be a little bit different. We're gonna do some stuff. We're gonna do some interviews and stuff like that. We're gonna do different type of topics and stuff. So make sure y'all tune in. Last one. Nobody else super chat because I don't want nobody to pay for something that I can't answer because my video might end at any time. But Thomas says PPR need upside, MVS or Trooper Hubbard. I'm going with Trooper Hubbard.
Yeah, for PPR upside, yeah. I don't think MVS is a PPR guy, but he's a boom guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Y'all be safe. Peace.